Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday the 20th of January. So looking at the news events first, well, we've just seen retail sales come out this morning at -1 versus the 0.5 expected. It's had a knock-on effect on the pound this morning. Aside of that, well, we've got the Swiss National Bank chairman, if you're trading a Swissy, that's coming out at 8 o'clock. I think it's today's the wrap-up of the World Economic Forum in Davos. Got it right today. We've got Lagarde speaking again at 10 o'clock. I mean, she's spoken a lot this week. Let's just check what she's due to participate in the panel discussion titled Global Economic Outlook. Is this the end of an era? Oh, it's going to be joyful. Joyful chat at 10. Retail sales to Canada might create a bit of a blip there for the Canadian dollar later. Another Fed speaker. We've had so many Fed speakers this week. I don't think anyone's not spoken. Again, there was he's due to speak at the Council on Foreign Relations. Okay, no, I wouldn't be worried about too much about that. Okay, let's have a look at the markets themselves. Starting off looking at the euro dollar, and well, it continues to sit in this consolidated phase here. We've seen it before where it's gone on for a couple of weeks or so, and it seems to be back into that zone. It's really not getting any surges during the day of real significance now. It's slowed up yesterday, chopped around, didn't quite take out the lows. It's gone quite ugly. We've got this bullish engulfing candle at the moment. Maybe it will go back up there, but it's just, for me, it's I don't know if I'm giving up on it. If I was looking at it sensibly, I wouldn't be day trading it. I don't think I'd be looking at now maybe a swing, but hoping for a breakout. That about sums it up, doesn't it? The pound dollar, well, the pound's come off this morning. It was doing quite well. Whether it will recover that the sell-off here, but the markets haven't really liked the retail sales numbers, but it was on its way southbound already. But he says actually it's not massively down here. Perhaps it can manage a little bull flag and start picking up again, but look at yesterday, it spent most of its time, it sort of popped up there about 11 o'clock and then back down again and chopped around for most of the day there, just gradually working its way through. Lots of patience needed in these markets. The US dollar yen, it seems to have a buy area or support area just down at the lows here at the moment, where it's not managing to hang into. There's support areas, demand area down here for the US dollar aspect. Again, it's a bit ugly what we're seeing. In a sense, I'm waiting for a bit more of a continuation of the overall dollar index sell-off, but the markets are at this sort of chop zone at the moment, and we just got to accept that. There may be opportunities through some of these days to do something. Aussie dollar, you can see I've already put a trend line there. This was heading south, but once again starting to pull up at 4-hourly pitch there. Bought a bear flag though. It's below its original trend line. It's looking ugly. The safer trade on here would be a break of the this level down here, but we'll see. For now though, it might drop off a bit earlier, so just looking at that. Let's come down this lower time frame. So here we go. May drop through a bit earlier and might see something. There's some sort of bearish looking signals coming through, but 50 crossing a 200, all these sort of factors, death cross as it's referred to, it'll probably rally through that now. The Aussie has been lagging the other markets somewhat. It really got the sell-off. US dollar CAD, this is going to start continue pushing to the downside. It was drifting downwards. only for it to see this run back on Wednesday. It's coming off again. Just looking where it is at the moment, maybe we will get a drift back down, but not the most convincing, lagging the other markets. So not a great deal there. I'll just look at a couple of cross pairs. Euro yen, similar picture to the dollar yen, etc. So Euro CAD is often a nice looking market, but even with this, there is a potential if we can get a bit more of a movement there, we could see this pushing up towards yesterday's highs, the R1, but a bit sluggish as it sits there at the moment. It's probably one of the better looking pairings. Okay, moving away from Forex, let's go and have a look at gold and see what's going on there. So gold catching the bid this morning. Solid old day yesterday in the end. It danced around somewhat, but actually yesterday it wasn't so bad. Did actually start picking up in the afternoon there, 2 o'clock-ish time, but like I say, danced around. It wasn't particularly clean in the morning, and then off it's gone. Pushing up nicely at the moment, come back to its pivot here. For me, that's a missed opportunity possibly, but it's already gone at the moment. So there you go, it's gone. Oil, got to wait for another setup on it. Oil, just check, get it right. There we go. It's still working in this slow upward trend. I mean, there's scope for it to push up further. I'm still wary of the huge potential oil supplies to come on into these markets, and so yes, it's in a sort of bit of a run at the moment, but I don't know. Perhaps I shouldn't be fighting that. There's a trend line across the highs. Well, we shouldn't really do it, but we could probably put it on this candle here and look to see if we get the break of the highs here. At some point it is moving up, but well, there's some scope. It's almost just looking at some of these markets, so you sort of they're not ideal, and if they're not ideal, we shouldn't really be trying to trade them. So looking then at the CSI 300's quickly cooking through that, more positive this morning, again still in that upward trend. I'd expect that with the growth expectations for China now. The Nikkei, well, it's recovered yesterday's losses. It's still sitting around this bottom, but it looks like it's, I mean, if it breaks back above its monthly pivot, it'd be much more bullish, looking more positive. Nifty 50 still trapped in its downward trend at the moment, not really going anywhere. Coming to the US markets, the S&Ps, just really not looking happy at the moment. I'm just looking at the shorter time frames. Maybe a break back down below its daily pivot would be in the sell zone for now. It's as I say, it's not looking great at the moment at all. Dow Jones, similar-ish picture. We've got these sort of consolidation, these big moves down here, and again, maybe it's got a rollover. Just look at the chop in it. How do I keep you out of market sometimes? We all want to be trading, but the markets aren't really. I'm looking across a lot of these markets, and well, bear flag there on the Nasdaq. It's similar picture right the way across here, and it really on all of them it looks like if it could break down on the pivots, that would be a continuation, but they have been quite choppy around these lows. Maybe that's it, that's the battle for the lows, and we are going to get more of a rally. Looking closer then, the DAX, just looking at it on a daily basis. Someone asked me about the CAC as well. Don't forget the CAC. Well, here's the DAX, here's the CAC. There you go. That's why I'm really only looking at the DAX at the moment. It's got more volume in it, and it's got exactly the same picture, unless I've got the wrong charts there somehow. DAX then, shorter time frame. It could be rolling back again. It's had its momentum around the highs here. It's rolled over. It's got a sort of a bear flag starting to appear here. It's very much similar to the DAX, the US markets in terms of its price action at the moment. A break below the low of the current bar there could be a good enough trigger for the downside. The FTSE. So the FTSE, such a similar picture, a little bit more oomph in it this morning at the moment, but actually when you come down the time frames, similar-ish pattern. But I say similar-ish. The pattern's similar, but the movement stronger at this stage, and it's looking like it's got more upside potential. Okay, that's pretty much all those markets. As it's a Friday, I'll have a quick look at cryptos here, and just have a look at some selective coins. Let's not be looking at them on the hourly basis though. So Bitcoin's got stuck in its range now. Well, so is the euro and everything else. I mean, this is a bit of a if we can get a bit of weakness in the dollar, we could see these markets pushing up a bit further. It is still sitting around the November highs there at the moment. Maybe it's a struggling psychological area. It's sitting around the 20,000 sort of area. Okay, it's above it, so it's a bit more positive. Maybe has got something more in the tank yet. I think Litecoin is, for me, it's a bit better. It's higher than its November high and December highs there. It's beyond those. Again, consolidating around here. Maybe in the short term, looking a bit softer, but same sort of viewpoint there. Ethereum again consolidated around these highs. It didn't make the November highs yet, but has had a decent run up, like most of them have. They've had some good sort of runs, but I think it's really we're looking at the US dollar and looking at dollar versus the other currencies, and then maybe we'll see these follow suit, but just shows they're all consolidated nearish to highs. And well, there's potential if the dollar does get a bit of a sell, then we could see these markets push up as well. That's the most positive I've been on these coins for a long time. They're bound to crash now. Right, on that cheerful note, I wish you a great weekend, and I'll catch you on Monday. Bye for now. Far too cheerful.